Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. I'm going to present a brief summary of the longer talk on the second crisis of knowledge in the Islamic civilization. As we all know, Islam created a revolution in human history 14 centuries ago when Islam came to the world. The Arabs were the most backward people on the planet, and they were very advanced civilizations that were in existence at that time. The teachings of Islam created a revolution in the lives of the Arabs. It made them from ignorant barbarians into civilization, into very civilized people who became leaders of the world and created a unique civilization which has so many properties that still have not been achieved by any other society. So the question that is important is, are those teachings that came with Islam 14 centuries ago, are they still relevant? Are they still valuable? It was prophesied that Islam came as a stranger and will become a stranger. And unfortunately, that seems to be true. So, Islam brought many revolutionary ideas which did not exist on this planet before. It created new ways of thinking about the world, the society, the human being. The Prophet ﷺ was Rahmatul lil Alameen, mercy to all the nations, and he was a model of excellence in conduct. And there are many ahadith sayings of the Prophet which say that excellence is in conduct, good conduct is the heart and essence of the deen. And what does good conduct mean? It means that the strong should protect the weak, not exploit them. The strength has been given for them to them as a trial and a test. So the strong should protect the weak, the wealthy should give their excess wealth to the poor. The poor have a right to their excess wealth. This is a unique feature of Islam. So in particular, social responsibility is one of the teachings of Islam. As a society, we are collectively responsible for all the members. If anybody is hungry, then it is my responsibility to make sure. And similarly, not just mine, but all members of the society are collectively responsible. These teachings created an unequaled culture of peace, harmony, and tolerance. Nobody has ever equaled the type of society that was created by Islam. So let me just give a very brief history of the um, events. First of all, there was 700 years of a very advanced Islamic civilization in Andalus. After 700 years, it started to decay and degenerate, which allowed the European nations who were steeped in the Middle Ages, Dark Ages, they were living like barbarians, continuously fighting each other. They were strong, young, and youthful. And so, in a common pattern in history, the barbarians overcame the degenerating civilization and they reconquered Spain. As a result of this conquest, they acquired a vast treasure of knowledge. It took them about 2 centuries to assimilate some parts of this knowledge. The most important parts of Islamic traditions and knowledge were never actually absorbed or understood by the West. So they continue to be unique and important and valuable for today. So, with this knowledge which they gained, which gave them science and technology and civilization and many other things that they did not have in the Middle Ages. This was called the Enlightenment. They were able to acquire a lot of strength and they never gave up the fighting that occurred. So, as a result of their continuous fighting, there was a military revolution in Europe. Continuous warfare in Europe was ceased for about 100 years as Europeans found out that they were far ahead of the rest of the world in their military technology. And so, for 100 years, they stopped fighting each other in order to conquer the planet. At the beginning of the 20th century, they had control over 85% of the planet. Not only was the fact that they had a strong military, but they also had philosophers like Machiavelli, who said that you can do anything, you have no morals, and you should use trickery and treachery and deceit and ruthlessness in order to achieve conquest. Hegel, philosopher, said that the state has no morals. It can do whatever it likes. It can kill, murder, destroy. And Nietzsche, who also said that morality is something of the past and the strong man will be cruel and ruthless. So after they conquered almost the entire planet, then there was no more world left to conquer. So they again started fighting each other, which led to World War I and World War II in the 20th century, which was the deadliest in the history of mankind, where millions and millions of people were killed by advanced weapons and technology developed in Europe. And this theory of continuous warfare continues to be applied throughout the world, so that whoever is there is the law of the jungle. Whoever is strong has the right to swallow up the weak. And this is since the US has become the strongest country in the world, it has been continuously invading and conquering weaker countries. So today, because of European dominance of the world, European ideas dominate. But these ideas are the same as the ideas of Jahiliyyah, the pre-Islamic Arab. That life is all about luxuries. We should enjoy life. The strong have the right to exploit the weak, just the law of the jungle. The rich have no responsibility towards the poor. You can enjoy your luxuries, and actually, as one of the philosophers of the West put it, if a rich person wants to throw bread to the dogs while a poor woman starving is begging him for it, he has every right to do so. So, because of this complete freedom for the rich, today 8 people have about half of the wealth of the planet, and the concentration of wealth keeps increasing. Our economic theory says that this is justified. The rich are productive, and that's why they are rich. And so we should lower the taxes on the rich in order to allow them to make even more wealth. So today, Islam has become a stranger. Even the Muslims believe that life is all about comforts and luxury. Economics is about growth and maximization of wealth and not about taking care of the poor. And economics says that people are naturally selfish. Selfishness is a good thing. For example, the textbook Mankiv said that free markets achieve efficiency due to self-interested behavior, not due to love and kindness. So Muslims today are in shock and awe of the West. So message of Islam has the same revolutionary potential it did 1400 years ago. Under the influence and dominance of the West, Muslims have forgotten the main teachings of Islam. Whenever they find that some teaching of Islam is in conflict with some teaching of the West, then they modify or rationalize Islamic teachings. Whatever the West admires, we think that is Islamic. If the West dislikes something, then we find ways to show that this is un-Islamic. So this is what I call the second crisis of knowledge, that instead of understanding and recognizing that Islam offers us a radically new way of thinking about the world, which is very different from the West, Muslims do not are not even aware of these teachings, and they think that today the only path to progress is by adopting and accepting Western ideas, and our old Islamic ideas are no longer useful for us today. So the revolutionary concept of Islam are not understood even by the Muslims. Islam has become a stranger to the Muslims. Islam teaches us that if we work together as a community, no individualism, instead we should look out for each other. There should be mutual cooperation, responsibility, generosity, instead of the competition and greed, which is at the heart of modern economic theory. This requires a revolutionary paradigm shift, which is just as difficult uh, today as it was 1400 years ago when Prophet Muhammad brought this revolutionary message to the world. May Allah Ta'ala give us tawfiq to understand this message and to implement it in our lives today, because it has the same potential and the same value. Islam is perfect and complete today as it was 1400